What's going on, everybody? LK here, back at it again with another video, and today some more Dragon Ball FighterZ for y'all. Specifically, I want to talk about how to control it and what do you use them for. If you like the content I'm putting out, please consider liking this video or subscribing to the channel if you already have not. It does help the channel grow and I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. So Trunks has had this EX flip basically since season 1. In season 1 it was a great combo extender, but they changed it over time. Now he has a lot more solo functionality than before, aka he doesn't need assists to extend combos so much because of how they changed the flip, and of course it's an excellent mix-up tool. So before we start, let's talk about the different types of flips that he has available. So he has the ground flip and he has a flip in the air. You can see that the flip in the air goes a little bit farther by default. The flip on the ground does not go as far. He can steer it horizontally, left, right, and he can steer it now, new to season 3, vertically. So he can steer it up, and he can steer it down as well. You can also change how he moves by combining the flip with different types of movements. So the one that most people know is the Tiger Knee flip, or TK flip. TK flip, the idea of tiger kneeing is you input the special move you want on the ground and then tap up so that you do it instantly after you jump. So this is a normal flip, this is an air flip, but this is a tiger knee flip. You can also change the momentum a little bit with other types of movement. For example, air dashing. So if you do an instant air dash, you travel quite far, and dash jumping as well. And by jumping, it means you could also combine flip with dash jumping on frame 1, which gives you that type of momentum. So what do you use flip for in neutral? You can use it for a few things. You can use it to punish whiffs. A very easy example of this would be to use it to go over beams. Of course, you could do this by just doing super dash, but super dash depends a lot on where you are. You could do it too early, too late. If you're on the ground, then you just go into it. So you have to be above most beams. In the case of flip, you can just make sure you're above it and tag them easily into a full combo. A little more uncommon, but you can use it as an anti-air as well. So here's a case where my opponent is jumping and I try to bring them down with my air normals, but I go over them. This is actually pretty common in Dragon Ball FighterZ because moves don't hit behind very easily. Also, all sorts of adjustments I make, I'll always go over them. But by using flip, you can make it so that you don't go over them, even if you're running. Even if you're running, you can do this. You can use it to get out of the corner as well. So Trunks actually has a move where he travels horizontally, the Shining Slash. But if you try to use the EX version or the medium version, it wants to go to where your opponent is. If you're trying to escape, you'd have to use the light version. In the case of using EX flip, you can get to the other side of the screen quite easily. So most characters who are good at getting out of the corner with special moves, when people try to anti-air super dash, they can't really get them because the super dash can't keep up with the horizontal momentum. So here's an example of me doing this with base Vegeta. What's nice about Trunks is you get this as well. Or you can choose to steer upwards, and if they actually do end up following you, you can hit the super dash by checking to see the chase message. When you steer upwards like this, basically no character can get up there unless they super dash at you, so you know their options are pretty limited. On top of that too, you can combine it with assist calls off screen to try to control space. You can also use flip to kind of sneak in fake mix-ups and resets. So for example here, I sneak in a really quick cross-up just by doing it and tapping towards the opponent. Like many tricky resets of this type, my opponent can 2H me if I try to do it, but Trunks gets free control over his flip, so you could reset like that. While the up steer is generally used for floating, controlling space, getting off screen so you could just kind of reset situations, the down steer is specifically, as far as neutral to or pressure, to go back to the ground to kind of mess with the opponent's options. So I already showed you the example of using the down steer to counter somebody's 2H mash, but you could also use it in pressure as well. So a really common one would be after using a string into a Keyblast. So Trunks Keyblast is -5, and it puts him in a great spot for space traps and stuff, but it is a Keyblast, so they can challenge you with things like pressing buttons, super dashing, etc. So of course you could punish super dash like every other character by using 5H, but if you want to vary your offense a little bit more, you can consider using the down steer and reacting to it. This will make your opponent consider less risky, less committal options than using defensive super dash or something while you're rushing them down without assists. So if you choose to peel off, you'll get your assist back immediately. Now for mix-ups, there's basically a couple of types of things you will like to do. I don't use block stun assist with him generally. I use lower block stun assist with him. You can do mix-ups with Trunks with as low as 18 frame block stun. That is base Vegeta. So when you're making up a mix-up with Trunks, there's a couple of things you have to consider. One is how much block stun you have available, and then two, what are you actually going to do to use that block stun. So I have a lower block stun assist here. I have Bardock's A, so his assist is 27 frame block stun, and then of course I have Kid Buu, who has 50 plus. For assist with low block stun, the idea is quite simple. You just block string into whatever button you want, you call it, and then you do the EX flip. Next, you want to make sure you visibly go over the opponent and then just tap back. And if you tap back a little bit more, you'll go to the original side. If you tap back just a tad bit, then you'll stay crossing up. So a same side option would look like this. A cross-up option would look like this. Another thing you have to consider too is that you have to let them exit block stun for this to be a mix-up. When you do high-lows, you generally want them to be in block stun. That's because you're not crossing them up, right? So if you exit block stun, they'll have a chance to reflect or something like that. In the case of a left-right, you have to let them exit block stun because they have to actually pick to switch. If you do it too quickly, they'll be forced into block stun and the game will block the mix-up for you. This leads to another issue. You need to also make sure that you are able to hit reversal vanish and reversal 2H. Vanish activates on frame 3, the 2H invincibility activates on frame 4. If you mess up, the worst case scenario is you just get hit. If you block the 2H, it's okay. So in this example, I have the same mix-up setup here. This is a same side mix-up, and I can neither vanish, which means also I cannot 2H. This will make your mix-up real. So in the case of a high block stun assist, you can try using TK flip in order to make your mix-up a little bit tricky. The main advantages of TK flip is that there's a little bit of a momentum stall and it travels faster, so it could really mess with the defender. So this is just an example I came up with here, but here I use a TK flip in order to cross up very quickly. Now, while it might look like I blocked that quite easily, and I combine it with a same side mix-up, it becomes really tricky really fast. So the last one I'd want to talk about is float. So he has the ability to make his flip kind of stall with the new vertical axis he has on his flip. So the general idea is that during this motion, when you're close to the apex of his jump, you tap and hold up and you can make him kind of stall and float. So if you combine this with a back input to kind of slow him down, then you get either drifting or straight up not moving float like that. So for the most part, it's basically used with high blocks and assists like Bardock B and Kid Buu A. I don't use it personally so much for my own offense. And of course, if you're good at it too, you can use it to mess with people because some people will actually try to 2H your flips. So you can use it to stall in the air. So for example, instead of just doing this, where somebody might be willing to actually try to 2H you like that, you can actually use it to stall your momentum a little bit and get the hit. Now, to be quite honest, I don't even use it like that much. A super dash would actually do just fine. They'll have to wait anyway. It's just something I wanted to add in there. Okay, hopefully that helps. That is a general overview of flips and how they work. Again, I wish I could just tell you how to do mix-up straight up, but you would have to practice with your individual assists to come up with something. But those are the general guidelines you would use to come up with a mix-up. As usual, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you feel like it, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.